the men's coach here at Washington College, John Leekley. John came here many years ago to actually play basketball. We stole him, and he had a fun time. Yeah. Here, Rowan, for the guys. That's not a good recruiting thing when you do this.
It's more fun now.
Yes. And now, just before John starts, we're going to show some YouTube. I've got the mic here. I'll try to fiddle that around. You can tell this room is designed for speakers, so we don't really have, doesn't need amplification for the voice. You can see people with the boxes. That's for use to. We just got a text from somebody in Spain who's watching, so if you see the camera, you want to wave to whoever out there.
And I just got a text from the coaches at Marietta College, and I like to say hello to the coaches at Marietta College and see if they write back to me right now.
Hi, Phil. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let John take off here. I'll just be in the way a little bit, making sure that we can hear as well as we can. Okay.
We're all rowing geeks. So I'm going to geek out for a minute. It has nothing to do with my talk whatsoever, but I just saw this. A new lightweight men's 2K world record was set about an hour ago by a fella named Heinrich Stefansson at the Danish Championships. Lightweight 2K, 557.4. So, talk about raising the bar. All right, yeah, like Mike said, I'm the head men's coach here. I also have adopted another role, which is the director of multimedia for the athletic department. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and kind of some of the things that we've done here, but also how video and these kind of things can help you guys. As technology improves, it gets cheaper. I'm going to try to show you some stuff that hopefully doesn't cost a whole lot. I think these costs are going to go down tremendously in the future. One of the things I'm going to show you is free, which is good. The first thing I'm going to start with is called a GoPro. I don't know if anybody's seen these or used these ever, or like goofed around with them a little bit. GoPro it's an HD camera, which came out a couple of years ago to great success. It's like a lot of what they've done. It's designed for adventure stuff. It kind of started with surfboards and they've kind of moved on from there, but a lot of people are using them. So what we'll do with our coxswains is we'll put it on the coxswain's head. You may go to races and see this. And I made a bet with someone that I wouldn't wear this for the entire show, but I will. So I'm going to record my entire talk from my head. And I'm going to put it on YouTube later on. So I'm recording you now, so you're all on camera, not just me. But this thing's great. Turn it on, put it on the coxswain's head, it's done. So this is a waterproof case. It's waterproof, but you can still hear. I'm going to play a video from last year. We had a race out here. We put it on the coxswain's head, and it's awesome. So this way I can hear, not only can I hear what the coxswain says, but I can see what they're looking at when they say it. So I can see in this video, we raced Clark University here on the Chester. So I can see what my coxswain did when she told, bow pair to hit it in the warm-up, or line it up for the start. Oh my God, my battery died. Oh, failure. Yeah, what's she say? Yeah, well, no, it's not, it's operator error, believe me. I'm just gonna wear it anyway. Coxswain's head. You don't. You plug it into the computer. I actually have a cord back there. I can plug it in right now and charge it. It downloads onto a Mac, downloads as a QuickTime, right from there up to YouTube. And you can trim it there, so you don't have to upload an iMovie or Final Cut or something like that. You can just trim it to what you need. Because what we'll do is we'll just put, at first anyway, we would just put it on the coxswain's head, and they would go out. And they're out on the river. If the race is, you launch in like an hour early or whatever, and then it's an hour and a half. The battery usually runs for about 2 hours. I mean, I thought I had enough power in this thing, but I didn't charge it up. Now they're to the point where they're comfortable using it, so they'll put it on and start it right before the race starts. We did it this year for the head of the Charles, and so I could see where my coxswain's point was, and I could see when we passed someone, or unfortunately when someone passed us, and we could go back and look at that. It also gives me a chance for the crew to see things. I can see when 5 seats late. I can see when when people are rushing. I can tell the coxswain this is what you should be looking for. I think something like this is one of the best coxswain tools out there. There's a new one coming out in the next couple of weeks that's going to be Wi-Fi enabled. So you can, in the future, not now, in theory I could broadcast this live from my head now, and I could, this is maybe how we'll do RowingTalks next year, is just like everyone gets a GoPro. you know, and in the future, hopefully, we'll be able to broadcast races too, which I think would be neat. I mean, Willie and I have been talking about that, and I've been talking about it with our the multimedia guy for our entire college, who's a really knowledgeable fellow. I'll show you a video real quick. Sorry, did someone ask? No. At least it does for a second. Hmm?
Hopefully your coxswains.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives you a chance. I'll say that. Hold on a second. So this is last year, middle of March. Can you guys hear it? Can we hear it on the TV? It's, you can hear it. Trust me. I'm not going to play too much of it. I could also hear myself giving commands to the coxswains when I was starting the race, which sounded awful. But I also Sorry. Yeah, they weren't.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm sorry I said that. Especially
So I also missed the race last spring. We went to the Murphy Cup, and my son was born a few days before that. I told you. Okay. We don't need to watch the whole thing. We won the race by 6 lengths, but just, you know, in case anybody want to know. So that was the first race of the year. A couple weeks later, we went to the Murphy Cup. My son was born about a week before the Murphy Cup and ended up in the hospital, so I didn't go to the Murphy Cup with the team. But put this on this gal's head, and she wore it for the heats, and we ended up in the petite finals, and so I got to watch both races afterwards and talk to her about everything and talk to the team. So which was great. I got to sit there and almost like I was there with everybody. I've also put this like on the bow of the boat or like the stern of the boat and like all kinds of other places. It is pretty light. I mean, sometimes my coxswains complain that it's heavy, but it's not. It's just that they like to complain when I tell them to do stuff. How am I doing? Okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about is, good Lord, is something called Sprongo. Sprongo.com. I'm going to give credit where credit is due, and that is to Coach Bryans. She is the first person to mention this, as far as I know, in the rowing world. At the Jim Joy Conference this winter, Allison Murphy, who is sitting back in the corner, heard Coach Bryans talk about it, came back all excited about it. I looked at it and have been playing with it all winter. Haven't done it with the team, but that's coming. Jack. So what Sprongo is very easy. Sprongo is a free site. So you can take video. Basically, all it is take video of your kids rowing, upload it to this site, and you can draw on the video. So on Sundays, we are running a, here we go. We're running a kind of a winter camp kind of thing. Nope, that's not what I want. I don't like this computer, whoever this is. Okay, we're running a winter camp. And I need to upgrade Firefox in order to see this. All right. This is a girl named Alex. Alex rows down at Gunston High School, and I know we got a couple of Alex's coaches here. Alex is tall, a good athlete, and there's things that she's doing that we would like to improve. You guys laugh, but every single athlete is like this. From the stroke of the US 8 down to the first kid at the start, there's every single person does something that we'd like to make better. You can speed up the video. Okay. Off to the side here where I'm throwing my cursor, you can make comments throughout the video. So where it says here, at 1594, that's at 15 seconds into the video, I made a comment about her hanging with her lats and not opening up her back too much. If I can get to a midpoint in this whole thing, let's say, all right, so let's stop her here, where she's going to start to open her back up. My browser doesn't support the awesome drawing tools. Thanks. trust me, it's there. It draws a neon green line wherever you want it. You can make a box out of it. You can box wherever she's doing things, and then on top of, I'll turn around so because you told me to turn around. And at the top of the screen, any comments that you put on the side are going to pop up. At the top of the screen. In wherever you make a mark, like if I make a mark here, it's going to put a little bubble right here. Click on the bubble, it goes right to that spot where you can see what you want them to improve on. Yeah, I know. It's Firefox is not up. It's not upgraded, and I'm not going to. I don't want to spend 8 minutes upgrading. Right here, where right next to her name, Alexandra Kukarowski. I can tag her in this. And so what I did was I typed her email address in, and it sends it to her. So what I'm going to do with my guys and what we've done with these kids on Sundays is, we've spent like 3 or 4 hours with them. We talk to them all about this, but obviously if they can see it and they can kind of see exactly what you want them to do, you can literally draw the whole thing out of what you want them to do, and then you can email it to them. I coached the Bethesda Chevy Chase for about 4+ years or so, and we had similar programs, and it's a similar size program to what it is now, where it was almost like 100 kids. I coached the freshmen for a couple of years, and I coached the varsity for a couple of years. And yeah, I know what you guys do. You have 2 8s, 3 8s by yourself. This time of the year, if you're in a basement erg room or a hallway somewhere, you don't have time to go through each individual kid. But if you can get like 1 or 2 things, maybe just 10 seconds of video, pop it up to here, email it to them. They're going to look at it when they have the time. You do it when you have the time. I used to. God, I had a real job. I had a full-time job, but I spent more time working on my BCCC stuff than I did at my regular job. And certainly I would have done this forever and ever. Okay. I think that was it that I wanted to mention. Any questions about this? I'm not going to wait for the end for questions because I don't like to do that. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Are you shaking your head because you don't know, or it's not? So you can see, if you can see here at the top. So like I'm the administrator of my account, and then all my team members are members of that account. So they can go into that website, and any of them, they're members, and view the site. So they can see everything that's there. And when I tag them, it says me. You can tag them. So I don't even have to tell them. If you look up at the top, the left corner, I don't know if you guys can see it, but where I've put my cursor, it does say John's team, and underneath it, it says Chesapeake Crew Camp. There's nothing in Chesapeake Crew Camp because I was still trying to figure out how to use it, so I just put everything in the John's team. But that's it. So it's like I'm sorry, when people ask me about securing a website, I'm kind of like totally a novice about that. Yeah, you can. Sorry, what? Okay, yeah, I can. I can. I got other videos up here that I can. But since I'm not upgraded, I'm not going to show you. Let me see. How much time? Okay, cool. The other thing I want to talk about was I know we have teachers in the room. How many teachers do we have in the room? How many folks teach? Have you guys ever videotaped yourself teaching in the classroom? Have you done that, or was that part of the whole education for you? Yeah, it was for us here. I took some education classes while I was here, and so they videotape us all the time. Very nerve-wracking, very kind of a big eye-opener, though, for sure. One of the things that I use this, but you can use pretty much anything, is I can stick this onto my center console and just hit go. And it's, as far as learning how to coach, I definitely don't want any sound for this one. Ignore that first part. But, yeah, please. But I spend a day, just put this on my on my launch as we were out, we had like 3 or 4 fours out one day, and just kind of like listen to myself for a little bit and watch myself. Yeah, I know. I mean, everybody thinks it's really funny. It's like, well, yeah, you're such a goofy-looking guy. Of course, you're gonna watch yourself. But I mean, I have plenty of days where I'll say something in the megaphone and put the megaphone down and be like, what was I talking about? I mean, I hope they understood that. But then there are times where I do that and I think I knew what I was talking about, and then I figure out later that it didn't sound as good as it did, as good as I thought it did. And you know, the mannerisms, like I talk with my hands, in case anybody's not noticed that. And sometimes that can be distracting, I think, and certainly a little bit confusing. You know, and it's just an easy way to get to improve a bit. One of the things that we've done here at the school, and this is kind of been the big role behind my job, or the new part of my job, is trying to get as much of athletics up onto the web as we can. To kind of engage our community, whether it's alums or recruits or just the students themselves. So if you can see here, we have, every week there's an athlete of the week. You know, we had a fellow on the basketball team last week who scored 36 points against their Sinus, and they won the game by, I don't know what, they're second place in the conference. He's probably gonna be player of the week this year, or player of the week for this week. He'll probably be player of the year for our conference as well. At least he should be. You know, so when we do an athlete of the week, I'll go up to him with camera, real simple, and just get them to talk about the game, talk about what's coming up a little bit, and then get that out on the web. We get a lot, you know, you can see the number of hits that you get on it, and those kind of spike immediately, as I'm sure it's all their buddies in their dorm who will pull it up and be like, oh, look what you said, you're so funny, ha ha, or something. Or their mom or their grandmother pulls it up, and it's like, oh, look, I can see whoever on screen. We do this at camp, too, over the summer, and the parents go crazy. It's awesome. They're like, look, I can see what my kid's doing. I can see them at camp. When people can see things, when people can see into your program, I think that adds a lot of value to everything. It might help you do a lot of different things, such as, you know, when I talk about keeping your community engaged, you know, your community is not just the kids on the team, it's your parents, it's the kids that are gonna play, the kids that are gonna row later on. You know, if you go into a junior high to recruit, like at BCC, we used to go to West something, I forget the name of it, or I don't remember either. We used to go in every year and try to get these kids to row, and like I would stand up there. I mean, I was 25 years old, talking to these 13-year-olds about rowing, and they all kind of sat there and looked around and didn't do anything. Suddenly, there's video, and it's like, oh, dude, this is cool. Like, you know, they're up on the web, and it's easy too. This is my wife's iPhone. This and the new one. This is not the newest version. It's the previous newest version. But the camera is unbelievable, the video camera on this thing. And it's so easy to just point, click, and get it. I mean, I got a DSLR over there that I've been struggling to learn how to use, and then she pulled this up and took a video of our son, and I was like, oh my God, I should have just gotten this thing. I spent too much money on that. The other one's a flip cam. People probably seen these around. They don't make these anymore. But they're still for sale, and you can get them pretty cheap now. If you just Google flip cameras cheap, you're gonna find a lot of deals on them. It's easy to get them. It's really easy to get stuff up onto the web because it comes with a USB port plugged in. I would encourage you to get stuff up onto the web as much as you're allowed to, you know, within all of those legal and appropriate things as far as, you know, high school kids and things like that go, which I don't have time to get into. But I know Brendan, my assistant coach, just got something about this size. It's called a. Okay. But I know it's about this size and it's waterproof, and they make a bunch about this size. Kodak did too, but since they're bankrupt, they're probably cheap as well. Sony? Yeah. Sony, I'm sure, I mean, Canon, if they don't, they should. Now I have hat head.
I'm going to jump right in. And John, are there any questions for Coach John? And John, will you repeat? We just got a text from somebody in the Midwest saying, could you please repeat the question? So somebody asked a question, can you make sure you repeat it?
Sure.
What are your thoughts, obviously you're not official, what are your thoughts on the use of this kind of technology for races and stuff?
The question is the use of, what's my opinion on the use of this stuff in races? I think it's great because it's exposure. I mean, this is like, the race is 1.25 miles long. You know, you stand at the finish line in Philly and you see like from the wire up, but if I can see the whole thing, I mean. Well,
Boy, wouldn't that be interesting if you file a protest and you instead of written, say, well, here's the video, right here.
the rule is, maybe they changed this, but the rule was the line of communication. So I'm not going to put an iPhone into a thing, but I mean I can't communicate with the guy through that, right?
They're transmitting to you, you're not transmitting to them.
Yeah, that's. There was cameras everywhere at the head of the Charles this year. I mean, every boat it seemed like had something. I mean, I saw a bunch of boats that had these things just like all over the place. I mean, like the camera behind the stern looking down. I mean, think about like how many of us watch the boat race every year. You know, it's like April 7th this year, I think. I mean, there's like 7 million people worldwide watch that thing. It's awesome. Are you kidding? It's like, you know, better than the Heat game last night or whatever, or whenever it was. Yes. Oh, well, there you go. So I hate to say that I don't know what the rule is about that right now, but I feel like it's changed.
Yeah, and I think it may be under review. Well, John will be up at lunch with us, and he'll be here all day if you have any other questions.